everybody and welcome to Let's Build live from Oak Hill Works. How you all doing? I hope you are well. Was that loud enough, Sophia? Just for you. Yes, we are back. Obviously real life got in the way of me doing things and being able to stream last week, which was a shame. I did miss streaming. We had a little impromptu stream inside my Discord, not with me hosting, I hasten to add, which was nice though. But hopefully it doesn't happen too often. So yeah, we are back with the C2, and those of you that are observant will notice something's happened to the chassis since last time. That's right, it has no pickups anymore. Well, it does, but they're not actually attached to the chassis. And that's because I have been investigating and I think I know what's wrong with them. So we are going to go through that and we are going to fix it, he says confidently. I'm glad you're all feeling awake now. Certainly woke me up. You'll notice I have some other goodies here as well. Because, you know, goodies. So this chassis, we'll go with that for starters. And what I believe is wrong with it, see if you look, there are a lot of places where the paint is missing now, which mostly because the Araldites ripped it off. But in a couple of very important places, there appears to be some solder on it. And it very much looks like some solder might have got through and caused a connection, and that is why we were shorting out. So we are going to correct that in the way that we did with insulation on the i3 way back when, with some tissue. Just a single ply of tissue and some super glue, and all will be good. And we'll keep the area of the tissue as small as possible, so it is only around the pickups inside and out. And it will all be good. Of course, that will mean we need to do a bit more painting, so we'll look at all my other goodies after we've done a bit of painting. That is the plan. So yes, how is everybody? Can you all hear me now? Have you all unmuted me? Or do I need to go through my rather convoluted why we're doing it this way thing again? And it's definitely because I'm super skilled and not completely useless at this. How did you find those This concepts pickups before? I used to use them but found them a bit draggy. I don't find them too bad. Compared to making my own, they just make the job so much easier that I'd rather do that. And good evening, Tom. How are you? So yes, the first thing we are going to do, get the cutting mat out. And you know, why am I cutting this with the knife? I've got scissors sat here. Don't be an idiot. At least not all the time. Ah, my scissors are nice and sticky. The boy has been using the workshop today. Let's clean that off. He's been building a 1/48 scale Nighthawk attack helicopter that he picked up in the shop on Bring Your Child to Work Day the other day. And kept me out of here much longer than I wanted to be out of here. So get that last bit off with this, that's not so scratchy and horrible noisy. Has he finished yet? He has finished it. He finished it today. Still got to paint it, but but the build is done. And good evening, Johnny. How are you? I hope you are well. Let's get rid of this end that we've messed up by having the scissors being sticky. And then we just need small strips of this. And it's basically going to sit like that. Then the pickup goes over the top and doesn't short out. That's it. Focus on my hands. That's where we want the focus. Clever camera. But that is the theory. Oh, that sounds lovely on my workbench there, doesn't it? And good evening, Thomas. How are you? I hope you are well. So we'll get that folded over like that, and then we will drench it in super glue. I did think about completely removing the pickups and putting some new ones on there, but I didn't want to go through having to cut the middle set again. Somewhat tired, sorry to fetch stuff up from downstairs now with everyone. Fair enough. I hope you had a good day out. It's a bit too long down the inside, but we'll deal with that afterwards. Right, cheers, just recovering from the metal. Just recovering from the last streets at the moment. Out of my hand, well, and how different Devil chassis. I don't know what you mean about these glass and metal shrieks. You slanderous comments, Thomas. It's great, thank you. Even saw the coal tank inside Ingro West shed. Very nice. Very nice indeed. So the reason we use single ply tissue for this is because not only is it insulating, it's extremely thin. So it doesn't add loads of thickness to the brass and mess up anything else. Good evening, Killian. How are you? And good evening, WJS Productions. How are you? I hope you are both well. Turns out Dapper Terrier chassis wasn't that far off from what Hornby's new one, which I'm happy surprised about. It shows that older Terriers weren't as bad as they were made out to be. I mean, they weren't great, but they were Terriers, so of course they weren't bad. Very well, thanks. Yourself? I am good, thank you. It's the cheapest Pokemon possible. The cheapest is whatever you already have. You're using one ply from a single sheet. You're not breaking the bank. And if you use the inside sheet, you don't get all the texture from the roll. If you insert the pickups from the chassis. Exactly. So it does appear that there was some issues with the insulation on the inside rather than the outside, and that's why I wasn't having much luck finding it. But with this, that will cure that. At least that's the plan. And I'd like to remind everyone that hydration is important. But people say them awful lot, just they're nice enough for the time, just a bit about the size of the motor, nothing important. Yes, body pitch was too high. Overall, it was overscale, fit for the 80s, 90s, but nowhere near acceptable today. Yeah, it's not a terrible model. You can look at it and see it's a Terrier, but if you put the actual Terrier next to the modern ones, which are actually accurate, you will see why people moan about them. But, you know, most of my Terriers are of the old style and will probably stay that way. wasn't for motors knocking proportions up, we'd all be modelling in HO. Very true. Very true indeed. Some of us have picked up some HON30 during our time away from the live streams. So, you know, some of us are. So, thankfully, Super Glue goes off nice and quickly. So, we can stick some paint over that. And then behind the wheel, this will basically be invisible. At least that's the plan. And there's the bot reminding you to smash that like button, or give it a gentle tap if you'd prefer. And whilst you're down there, make sure to subscribe and ring the notification bell if you haven't already, so you get alerted whenever I go live or upload a video. Which, you never know, one of these days I might actually edit one of the many videos I have filmed and then upload it. And it will come as a surprise to you all, because it's been so long since I've done that. Guess I'm just a sucker for old stuff then. I mean, my current efforts session kind of explained that way. Plus, older can be cheaper if you do it right. It can indeed, and a great way of doing that right is to visit traintimesmodelshop.co.uk and have a look through the pre-owned section, where you will find many, many a bargain. Exclamation mark shill in the chat. I'm not sponsored. I'm just a shill. There's some wonderful second-hand stuff up there at the minute, and there will be even more going up on Tuesday. For those that haven't seen the shop's Twitter feed at TrainTimesEB, because we took delivery of another load of second-hand stuff on Saturday afternoon. And there is a pictures of the entire load of it on the shop's Twitter. If you're interested, no, this is all railway stuff, this new lot that's coming. All the new stuff is railways. And there's some very nice stuff there. I know you have decent price stuff. That 2p is proof that, and at least I know it'll work before getting it. It will indeed all work before you get it, because everything is everything that comes in is serviced, and it is all then retested before leaving the shop. Courtesy of the greatest model railway repair company in the world. So popular I can't keep up with the demand. I did not see a single fire engine, you'll be glad to know, Sophia. So I won't make you put any fire engines online. There is a really nice Hornby Orient Express set though. The one that came in the red drawers. All nice and boxed and everything. So that should be a nice thing for someone. In East, was it? Oak Hill Works isn't in Eastbourne though. So it doesn't get serviced by the greatest model repair company in Eastbourne. I'd have to move for that. And again, now the paint's on, hydration is important. As is my coaster, but it was stuck to my cup. It should look nice in the photo. It should look very nice in the photo booth. So yeah, whilst that's drying, I've got some other goodies here. Like this. This is a very nice goodie. Would rather, if needed, send you a service request to Mr. My Train Set as a layout. There. Oh, I'd rather send it to me as well. Is of course the Rapido gunpowder wagon, which has been with me since yesterday. It arrived at the shop yesterday morning. No one else ordered one, so this is the only one we got in. And I must say, I am thoroughly impressed with it. Because it already doesn't have tension locks or NEM pockets or anything. Because something I'm very impressed with, for people like me, is that the big block for with the NEM dovetail is screwed in place. So you pop your NEM pocket off, you unscrew that, and it's gone. No sawing, no cutting, nothing. Very nice feature that is. And it is just absolutely stunning. All the text in this box here is legible. I wish I could show you on here, because the printing is incredible. In fact, let's see if I can get my photo of it up and see if we can get that on the screen. So, let's say that tiny little box there next to my thumbnail is incredible level of detail. Very well done to Rapido on that. And all the other detail on the wagon is phenomenal as well. I've not put my optional extras back in the box apparently. They must be sat on the other workbench. Because it does even include the clips for holding the destination tickets on there. As an optional extra. This one will of course be ferrying gunpowder to be used at South Park Quarry. Although the gunpowder wouldn't have been stored at the quarry, they weren't allowed to do that. So this will be seen on Oak Hill. Obviously not a Hornby Railroad model. No, no. No, no, no. But on the subject of Hornby, you know, I have the Hornby LB&SCR brake. And I wanted to show this to make a point, because I might have a little bit of a reputation about Stroudley carriages now. I don't know where that came from. Everything I see made by Repeater always looks really brilliant. I'd say they are worth the price. They said even back when 7 planes date back to the mainline days. Yes, everything from Rapido is absolutely stunning. There was a delivery estimate for the Southeastern and Chatham wagons in my parcel I received, so expect a review on those coming very soon. So yeah, as we've discussed before, this is way too long. They've put it on the chassis to match all the other things in the range, but it's based on the D47/222. Which is one of these. I wish my lighting wasn't quite so powerful on that. Should an RAF wagon supply a private quarry? No, it's getting repainted. They didn't have a livery I wanted, so it will be getting repainted. It's a shame, really, with the level of detail they've done. And it won't be something that happens anytime soon, because it's so fantastic. Got bullies into pre-order £150 wagons during the week. No. That's £115 with your staff discount. It's significantly more than that. Hang on. Go on, laptop, don't be slow. Yeah, your total retail value would be about 150 quid's worth of wagons you've ordered, Sophia. Any jobs going? Unfortunately not at the moment. Unfortunately not. But yeah, so that is how big that carriage should actually be. This one being a 3D print designed by Linny. Linny assures me they have never managed to successfully print one of these. I think it's fantastic, and well done to Linny on the design. Congratulations, Linny. It's incredible. And it matches up really well. If I could match Hornby's paintwork, it'd go with them perfectly. And complete the set quite nicely. Oh, in other news, I've got one of these here. We're all ignoring the spelling mistakes on it. It's a first draft. Consider this the unofficial announcement. I'll make a proper announcement at some point when the first kits are ready, but you know, coming soon. Hydration is important, everyone. And would you look at that, our paint seems to be pretty much dry. There's a couple of wet spots still, but for the most part, we're good to go. Well, provided I can get all the pickups in place again, we are. Someone needs to invest in the card printer, methinks. I've got a card printer. This draft just happens to be on paper because it's a draft. And it's in low quality because it's a draft. You would not believe the things I have sat here in this house that I have been building up in preparation for this. And good evening, Ben. How are you? You've just missed me announcing and also not announcing my new line of kits coming soon. So the problem I'm now going to have is the fact that these do still have a load of araldite on the bottom of them. And paint, because they've pulled the paint off with them. As long as I can get all that back off, I can put these back on. Just like that. Oh yeah, I need to cut away on the inside as well, don't I, so that the axles are clear. Doing pretty good, just finished up schoolwork right now. Oh, I'm glad to hear you're doing good. And finishing schoolwork is also good. I very much approve of finishing your schoolwork. Stay in school, get good grades, and one day a friend might offer you a lucrative career doing what you love. Me, cynical, never. I've done those up tight. Need to check that the pickups are actually in the right place still. That they are. The middle ones will be the hard ones to do, really. But if I can work out and get them all in, or at least the front ones and the back ones in sort of the right place. Before I mix the araldite. Then everything should be good. That's a pretty fair dive for finishing your work. See, do as Killian says. The rear ones aren't quartered right. I'm not going to worry about the rest of them, just so long as they're on there. They too are in the right place. There's a massive bit of araldite poking off the front here. Let's see if I can get rid of that. See, my theory here is if the front ones and the back ones are in the right place, the middle ones will sort themselves out. It's a good theory. I like theories. So once we've got this cut away, which took a lot more than I expected. It was obviously stuck a lot better than the end ones. You wouldn't believe how solid tissue goes with a bit of super glue. So then we get the wheels back on, and we can, with the wheels on, we know where the pickups need to sit and we can get them reattached with the araldite. Also comes from my shop, because of course it does. Oh, my hydration vessel is empty. I should refill that, because in case no one's told you, hydration is important. Lab's doing its best to crash on me now. I've got no view of the chat. There we go, chat's back. Silly stream. Oh no, it's gone again. Oh, and it's back again. Streamlabs. Never change. Unless you can change, then, you know, change. Hydration is important, as is pressing that like button. I agree, pressing that like button is very, very important. Is it as important as hydration? Who knows? I think there's only one way to find out. And that is to make sure that you press it. Now, if I'm really careful here, I can get in under these and on the ends and get them araldited in place. Without having to lift them out and without aralditing the wheels in place. Which of course would be a great result if we don't end up aralditing the wheels to the chassis. Because we'd have some real issues if we managed that. And of course this is the 5-minute araldite, so I've only got about half an hour to play with it before it's set and I can't do anything with it. Not that I think araldite takes a lot longer to set than it advertises or anything. But I'm sure most people that have used araldite can confirm it takes a lot longer to set than it advertises. Okay. I don't suppose anyone's got a spare hand they can lend me here, have they? Because it would appear I need about 20. And there we go, all the araldite is on. Of course, the fact that these middle ones are moving quite as much as they are means I now have to hold this until it does actually set. Or at least set enough that they won't start moving. I can word, honest. Hydration is important, everyone. The bot said so. God, that's weird. According to that timestamp there, the bot's actually running on 15-minute intervals at 15 minutes. That came through at exactly 9:45. So whilst we wait for this to dry, I'm going to ask my favourite question a little bit early. What is everyone up to this evening? Please do tell. I love hearing about the projects you have ongoing. And, you know, it feels time whilst I'm waiting for things to dry. And just as importantly, are you excited for kits? And can you guess what kits I might be producing? Lots and lots of wagon research. Oh, interesting. Interesting indeed. No Terry's and new batch second-hand items then? No, none at all. Transferring an SECR van. Fantastic. I think I've got an SECR van somewhere. Whether I'll bother with it now that the Rapido ones are coming, anyone's guess. Printing, and yes, very excited for kits. Whoa-hey. I am glad you are excited. Are you printing anything exciting? Waiting for an eBay order to come in. It's passenger car, and I'm going to paint it and letter it for my fictional railroad. Fantastic. Nothing at the moment, but I just drilled holes in the baseboard for droppers to wire up. I approve of drilling holes for droppers. Wiring up is a great thing to do on a layout, and it's always exciting when you get to run it for the first time afterwards. I finally watched the stream again. Hello Tom, how are you? Welcome. You just missed me asking what everyone's up to, so please do tell us what you're up to. A few 009 bits and bobs, mostly Welsh Highland. Ooh. 009 stuff is exciting. Let's see if I can get my fingers off of there yet. I mean, I can, but it's not quite set, and it's one of them is falling back in. Handy. I mean, it's only the one, though, so that's an improvement. Over what? I don't know. Right, and now it's not. Now it seems fine. Okay, I think we have those stuff. I want to guess you will be making a carriage, namely the LB&SCR Director's Saloon. I would like to do that. Maybe at some point. At the moment, no, we are with wagons to start with. They're much more simple. Building my station building yesterday and putting the interior of the Director's Saloon today with absolutely no bad words used. Well, no bad words is a good number of bad words. That sounds like modelling going well. What I've been up to is just... fair enough. Currently trying to find some American 009 stock for my narrow gauge line. I don't think I've run any of my locos since January last year. That's quite a while to have not run them for. You need to get some running. The Rapido van, a much later diagram than this one. Ah, fair enough. Fair enough. So, Ben, hold that thought. I'll be right back. You ask You mentioned American narrow gauge. Well, I've got some American narrow gauge. Because, yes. A nice little Porter 040 painted up as Betsy from Railroads Online. Which, you know, is the reason I wanted some American narrow gauge. It's an absolutely fantastic kit from Toma Works. I have a replacement base plate to print for it that will also have some brakes on there, so she'll have actual brake gear on there. She's a wonderful model. I honestly could not believe the detail of the kit. Oh, there goes some steps off my Climax. Because I wanted something to go with Betsy once I had Betsy. This is a, again, it's 3D print, but it's a free download from Thingiverse. And it is on a Engage Bobo chassis, and it fits wonderfully. And gives me a second loco in American narrow gauge. It's HON 30 is what these are. So I assure you, it is out there. Stick on that step that I've knocked off. The only modification I've made to this kit is to stick a whistle on it, which is a spare that came with the Porter kit, so it has the same whistle as the Porter. Hello Snipbits, thank you for your love for Nutley. Nutley is a very lovely loco. Named after one of the climaxes in my Railroads Online game. Very much a different style of climax to the one in the game. But yes, so now I need to build myself a little American narrow gauge layout. I have downloaded some rolling stock to print. So we'll have box cars and the like. Right, let's move this over here and let it sit and dry. The steps have proven to be very, very fragile on that model. Buff. Double 09 Americans are named after the Railroads Online game locos, which are named after the first lot of 009 locos. Yes, except for Betsy. Betsy isn't. Betsy is purely Railroads Online. Nutley, however, is named after the climax on the game, which is named after Nutley off my 009. My 009 Nutley being significantly smaller than the climax, though, because it's a Bachmann Scarlowy. Hydration is important, everyone. No, you're supposed to be up here. You don't get to fall down. And neither do you. So yeah, it's a big, big, big circle At the moment, I have no further plans for locos in HON 30. I am thinking I will build a time saver shunting plank, which is a bit more complicated looking than the Inglenook and presents a different challenge. But again, should be good fun. And something completely different. I needed the recasting guns. No. No. My daughter was not impressed when she discovered we had Rick Astley wagons. Because for some reason, Rickrolling is still a thing kids do. Who knew? I didn't. Oh no, that has come off. We don't want that. Everything else looks okay. So we're going to do some tests now. I think I might try and make a miniature railroad by taking regular N-scale locomotives, sticking HO scale cab on it. Might be fun to do. Well, I would love to see the results of that if you do it. They're never going to give you up. It's true. Although it's also a dirty, dirty lie. Because no matter how much he insists on it, his next album after that single was released, so the album after the one that single was on, was called Giving Up on Love. If I can get that to stand up there, we can all see the results of this. So place your bets now, ladies and gentlemen. Have I fixed it? Where's me blooming blue tack? That'll hold it in place. This is what happens when you let other people use your workshop. Ah, there we go. You can see it on its side there. So wheel to wheel, we should have something, yeah. And this side, yeah. Let's check the middle ones as well. Yeah. No. Okay, not the end of the world. Between these wheels, we should not have anything. We do not. And if I scratch a bit of the paint off the chassis here, there's a bare bit brass there, yep, so the chassis connection is fine. That is shorting onto the chassis, which I think is expected that side. And then this side should be nothing. This side is nothing. We have no short. This side, of course, the wheels are not insulated, so they connect through to the chassis. That's completely expected behaviour. We have no short. We have fixed it. My brother stole my X-Acto knife from me and I've never seen it since. Well, see, I've had my son's been in here building a helicopter the past few days. 1/48 scale Nighthawk. So no short means we can start actually putting this together and trying to make it do stuff. See, all I needed was some time to think about what I'd done. I approve of no shorts in this scenario. I approve of no shorts in all scenarios. Have you seen my legs? No, because I approve of no shorts. Hydration is important. Not actually what I wanted to pick up, but sure. We want to get the we want to get the gear on for the motor. Because we want to make sure the gear still fits in that gap in the middle now that we've been playing with it. Well, that middle one's that's why there's no connection. It's fallen in again. That's why that wheel wasn't picking up. Oh, and of course we want to quarter the wheels properly now as well. Oh good, guess who's got araldite on the axle? It was you. Don't do that again. Araldite on the axle is not very good. Yeah, they still turn. Right, well, with that araldite off, we'll get that wheel back on. And quartered. Put that into the middle. and tighten it up. Preferably without breaking everything. I like shorts mainly when it's not too cold or I'm on a scooter, but them's the breaks, as it were. Right, that appears to be tight on there now. So let's get the rest of the wheels quartered. And then you know what, I might check it for shorts again. That was good. I managed to unscrew that and turn the wheel round without the nut falling out the centre. I don't think I've ever done that before. Good job I did it on camera so everyone could see. Never be able to do it again, will I? Apparently I can. There we go. Wheels quartered. And shorts only where we want them. Even with the gear in place. Which I suppose means we can get the motor in place. I'm not sure how I'm going to put this bottom screw in, but you know. Helps if it's actually going into the motor. That's my top tip for the day. And those appear to be joined. That screw can go back in there for now. And because we can, we're just going to test the motor on DC again. Make sure the wheels turn. They don't. There's no tight spot there. That's not good. It is switched on at the wall. I am getting sparks off the contacts when I'm connecting up, so there is power going to it. Just by a properly nice controller. A Bachmann starter set controller. Right then, back off you come, motor. Definitely switched on. Good night from CP. Oh, good night, Linny. Thank you for coming. Good to have you here. Sleep well and all that jazz. And enjoy doing lots of wagon research. Let's put that screw back in there for now. So, that's not good. I am going to remove the centre wheel set. And I'm going to slip through there again. Because, you know, me and thumb screws. We have an agreement. I'll be completely useless and so will they. Now I can get in to actually screw the motor in properly. I have an idea what it might be. I have a couple, in fact. Maybe the bottom motor needs insulating from the rest of the chassis. Could be short, caused by a slight bit of connectivity due to mini sparks. That is one of my theories. So, well done, Thomas. You have beat me to explaining the theory. Because, of course, that would be how this is designed to work. But right now, with it sat how it is, there's no chance of that. I'm not just a daft idiot. Only sometimes, though. Hydration is important. Just in case. Even though it doesn't seem to be that. I'll put that down there and that on there. We're getting no connectivity through the chassis. But just in case we ever do, I think we should insulate it. You can't be too careful. There's already a couple of scratches on there. Not very deep scratches, mind, but scratches. It could be working now because of the second screw potentially like it's holding the motor up just high enough. It could be. So unless you're on a layout with no points, then you don't have to be careful. You still have to be careful. Always be careful. And why would you have a layout with no points anyway? Utterly pointless. If you're more than saying Glasgow Underground, nah. Then you can't even see the model. It really is completely pointless. So we'll let that set, and that will keep our motor definitely isolated. And then we'll get the motor back in with both screws again. Obviously I should have put it in before I put the gear in first time round. Never mind, eh? Still a little bit too wet. Good a time as any to refill that hydration vessel, I think. Kittens, I've got some of those. They're just here. Courtesy of Hardy's Hobbies. So remember, hydration is important. There we go, that's nice and dry now. It's good these are steel screws. And the magnet on the motor is strong enough that if you stand them up in the hole on the chassis, they get attracted to the motor and don't fall over. I wish all screws had features like this. There you go, it's supposed to be stuck to the screwdriver. Stop saying what your actual No, I don't have any actual kittens. That's definitely a motor that can turn. They're right here, they're on camera and everything. I don't have any actual pets anymore. I'm putting this on the right side, aren't I? Yes. I used to have absolutely loads of animals. Racing C2 29 Terriers. Do my terriers count as pets? Right. Now, before we do the thumb screw up on the gear, that's what we like. Now that that's done up, it works. And it still fits in there. So the next thing to do, I guess, is this. Let's do a bit of workbench clearing up first, though. Because then I'll know where everything is. So that's once it's turned, we have a fantastic little 222. Like there was some weird smart stuff going on then, quite possibly, yeah. Or it was just electronics being dumb because electronics be dumb, y'all. And now we're going to take this away. Because we don't want DC for this loco anymore. Oh, a nice chip. Yeah, the nicest of chips. A Lace DCC Kung Fu series decoder. Which means it has potential for stay alives. That's literally all the Kung Fu series thing means. And an 8-pin socket, which we don't actually want. I do, however, want an 8-pin socket for something else. That's annoying. I was just about to say we could mount the chip in the tender. Blooming can't with the tender being a big solid lump like this. That would have made it nice and easy. Run the cables up through there, off of these pickups and onto these connections. So, because I do actually want a socket for something else, we are actually going to unsolder this rather than aimlessly cutting it. Well, that's no good. The blooming pin moved. Why would they let the pin move? Curly fries are best chips. Nice chips and I like chips, but they don't taste like constant functions. I really wish I knew what the boy had done with my blooming blue tack now. That's rather irritating. I have exactly that much blue tack at my disposal. There we go. We've got a chip with wires. And I've got the 8 pins I need for something else. Now let's do our best to make sure this definitely isn't going to fit. Because I genuinely would like to mount this under the tender if I can. You know, that's unbelievably close, but no. That's very irritating. I'd have to take the top off the tender to feed it down from the top if I were to do it that way. I guess I'll just have to make sure I give it lots of excess cable and it can sit in there. So first thing I'm going to do is find the 4 cables that I want, which is red and orange and black and grey. Because they are the right and left side motor and track feeds respectively. The rest of them we don't actually want. And I'm not going to have lots of excess room for cable today. So they can get snipped down nice and short. This heat shrink might be too big. I'm sure my other one's going to be too small, but I'm going to check it anyway. I've got loads. Yeah, no. Big bit it is. And that will keep those out of trouble. Talking of chips in Nintendo, I had an epiphany recently. Technically, it's more prototypically accurate as the wires essentially take the place of the water pipe. Yeah, see, that's how I've always considered them. I'm going to keep these ones on in case I ever decide to add a stay alive. You never know, stranger things have happened. That's why. Well, I'll tell you what, long before I add stay alive, I'll add pickups to the tender. Because why would you do it any other order? And then we'll just make sure again, there we go, that fits nicely down in there. So now it's time to open the flux. And remember, you cannot have too much flux. And then the wires being essentially pre-tinned from their time on the uh, 8-pin plug can just be soldered straight on. Probably wonder if it's in any take it out, I'll let you know if I do. Okay, Alex, I hope you magically feel better pretty quickly, because that sucks. And then I'm going to go with the easy option of soldering to the front, I think. I've put those wires on the wrong way to how I wanted to put them on. That was silly. Oh, apologies for my lateness. No need to apologise for being late. This isn't school. We just act like it. By which I mean mess around and do everything except for what we're supposed to be doing. But good evening, Alexander. I hope you are well. How are you are the magic words I missed out there before that. So I am actually going to swap these round, aren't I? Yes, I am. No, I did have them the right way round. I'm being an idiot. Don't all be shocked at once. Still okay-ish at the moment. I mean, okay-ish is better than not okay-ish. And good evening, Human City Junction. How are you? I hope you are well. So, that's it. That's how you DCC fit a loco. Shocked Pikachu face. I don't know why everyone claims DCC fitting is so hard, because we literally just did it. The hardest bit is, do I have a controller I can rig something together with to actually test it? I can't use my NCE because I only have the one thing for it, and that's on South Park Quarry, and there's a bit too much work involved in getting that down, especially midstream. So, alright, thank you for finally getting my layout for this time next week. Well, hey, fantastic news. Shocking if you touch the live wire. That it is. Hydration is important, everyone. So, whilst I sort this out, since I asked earlier, and we've got some new people in since then, what is everyone up to this evening? Please do tell. I'm just going to leave this here for no reason whatsoever. Right, I have a DCC controller here now. Does Valve have an easy command upstairs on the boys layout? Unfortunately, not as easy to get to. Or a select. No, the select is not a DCC controller. Been sorting out the Gatwick Express coaches. Yes, I saw those on Twitter earlier. I'm looking forward to seeing the results. And there is a link to my Instagram. Well, hey, Instagram. Currently designing pub sign for Layouts Village Pub, the Stroudley Arms. Good name. All of my Stroudleys have arms and legs, body, head and everything else. So, yeah. I was made to Jill using brass size and EVB coach. Oh, look at these modern things you're saying, Sophia. Ugh. Hello again, Lewis. I'm looking at stuff to scratch build a station building. Excellent. I'm going to take this away now. You've all seen enough of this, haven't you? Yes. Not going well after ripping the decals off and splitting the red part on the, spilling the red paint on the map. I saw the paint spill. I did not know you had ripped the decals off the layout. That is not good. So when I saw you'd spilt the paint, I assumed you'd been to the Oak Hill School of Railway Modelling. We're good at that round here. So where's my snips? There's my snips. Right. We have a bit of track. Literally just going to make a DCC test track now because we can. The iron is nearly heated up. I think I missed a segment with Nutley. Name for an engine, also why is it upside down? It's upside down because the steps fell off and I had to put some glue on them. So I left it for the glue to dry. But yeah, you may well have missed that. They're my Nutley and Betsy, my two American narrow gauge locos that came out earlier for Ben when he said he was looking for some narrow gauge American stuff, and I said, well, it's funny you should say that. Look what I got recently. Looks okay from a distance, but awful close up. Are you're describing all my modelling there? All of it. Right, that's some wires on there. I pull Nutley, I'll never walk it. There we go, look. The Nutley's steps are repaired. He can be the right way round now. It's number 4 Nutley of my two locos, and Nutley's number 4. And there's Betsy. Tiny, tiny little Betsy. I really don't think people understand just how small this thing actually is. Even for a narrow gauge engine, it's tiny. Right. Oh, snips again. There you are. Flux those wires. and a bit of solder on them. Oh no, where are the instructions for this thing? Not one for American stock, they're pretty cute little. They are indeed, and neither am I normally, but it's that darn Railroads Online. So this is the LVZ 100. Lens LVZ 100 manual. That's what I'm after, because I can't remember which ones go where. J and K to the track. Because obviously J and K go to the track. Ooh, the old lens thingy, I forgot that existed. Yeah, for anyone that's interested, it is for sale. You would think so, wouldn't you? It's a really random selection of letters on the back. I assume they're not quite as random in German. But that's a big assumption to make. Currently working on getting a few more industrial locomotives and some terriers. Fantastic ideas. I approve of industrials and terriers. But yeah, 200 quid you can have my lens. It is for sale. Has been for a while, but I've never actually got round to advertising it. And that includes everything. It is boxed. It even has the proper lens transformer. It's a wonderful bit of kit. The only reason I stopped using it is because having so many layouts, it's a bit cumbersome to be moving it around between them, unlike the NCE, which is essentially just a handset that you're moving between the layouts. It has given me a lot of good, happy use, this lens set. Across quite a few layouts. So then these go into U and V, because U and V for the transformer, obviously. Again, that one's not in properly. Thought I'd best check that. Probably wants a slightly bigger screwdriver, actually. That'll make it easier. Oh, yeah. I'll keep it in consideration. I'm looking at upgrading from a Hornby Select. Anything's an upgrade from a Hornby Select. Not even a real DCC controller, that. Find me a buyer for the big old TARDIS I want shot of. I'll take it off your hands. I have no doubt it will still be here. But yeah, but I'm all boxed. I've got all the original paperwork. And it's not that I ever became unhappy with it. It just didn't meet my needs anymore because of being such a cumbersome thing. Yeah, that was. I totally. These colours are totally by accident. Completely accidental that we ended up with blue and yellow wiring. Yep. We have power. The question is, do we have clean enough track that this is going to pick it up? That's the real test here. Because I don't know how long this bit of track's been sat around. And the boy's been using the workshop. I have no idea where my track rubber is. Oh, I've knocked this out again. That would be why. It's my poor soldering on this. There's a big lump on it. Let's turn you off for a minute. Whilst I try and be less terrible at wiring. Well, I got the colours right. One. Okay, this says we have a short, and I think I can see it already. It tried to move there, though. I'm not sure if that's still going to short or not. It might. But that there, albeit with no power because the other wheels aren't hooked up, and you can see the sparks coming. Well, you might be able to see the sparks coming off. Is a loco running under DCC. So the reason it's shorting the worm gear on the pickup. I can potentially fix that by getting this wire moved away. Because it's that wire that it's catching on. Bit of solder that I've dropped on there off. There we go. So there's a bit too much movement in the motor. It's got a bit of flex in it, but we fixed our short. Needing references and carries thumbs. Sometimes thumbs are needed. Like I say, a bit too much movement in the motor. That feels like it might be too much pressure. And there's only one way to find out. Oh, it says it's shorting. Which I think means too much pressure. I'm going to pull that out and check that is what's causing it, because it's done it again. It is indeed. Obviously, we know what we need. Turn that off for a second. Move the camera back in a bit so I can get a bit closer to the workbench. And move this controller out of the way for a minute. I'd like to think though we've just shown that DCC isn't that hard, because it'd still be doing this under DC. I wonder if I can get away with just sliding this up. It's time for everyone's favourite part. Modelling wouldn't be fun if it weren't for the various puzzles and problems to solve. Exactly. I genuinely love all this. As anyone who's spent more than 5 minutes watching me model could confirm. Especially watching me do it in person. Well, that's no good. Remember not to glue the bits you're trying to use to your tools. That's another top tip. I anticipate chassis because the pickups here are shorting out on the worm gear. So if I cover them over, that will no longer happen. And tissue paper adds essentially no thickness. So won't interfere with the drive. At least that's the theory. And obviously everything getting together perfectly each time would be good, but I take away the feeling of triumph after faffing with problematic item for an hour, like repairing an unrepairable Hornby motor. It's funny you should mention those, Sophia. I've got another unrepairable motor to repair. And remember, hydration is important. Yeah, that's all dry now. Everything's repairable, it's just a matter of if it's worth the time and effort. I mean, officially, Hornby modern can motors are not repairable. Right then, let's get the controller back up. Let's get some power to it. That did not do as hoped and completely fix that. It's still, I mean, I assume what's probably happened there is it's just ripped straight through the tissue. It would be annoying, but I might just have to remove those centre pickups. It wouldn't be the end of the world if I did. Let's make sure we're turning off the right thing. Thinking about motors, why haven't we gotten plastic body motors yet? Probably some regulation that says they have to be metal. That's a guess. Yep, so we're just going to remove that completely. And I think what I'm going to do is just remove the whole pickup wire now that I've got that. You can try 3D printing a gear. There are people that have 3D printed gears. I personally am more of a metal gear person. I've never been a fan of plastic gears, including Hornby's ones. From an environmental point of view, do we really want more stuff made of plastic? We need to be getting rid of the darn stuff, ideally. Well, yes, that too, as Alex says. More things made of plastic is not the ideal way of doing things. So front and rear only pickups isn't ideal. But if it's needed, there's always the option of tender pickups or a stay alive. The Araldite held this one on well, didn't it? I would also advocate Metal Gears. See, it's not just me. Sometimes I say things and people are like, why, that's stupid. Today is apparently not one of those times. So since I'm having to go back to square one and replace wires and stuff, I might as well stick a new one of these in. It saves me cleaning the Araldite off this one. Because there's a lot of it. But still, we'll have it running by the end of the stream quite easily. And the fact there's so much Araldite on the bottom of the one I've taken off will be the reason it wasn't stuck properly. I think we'll have just gotten in the way of the Araldite I was putting on earlier. And of course, if your Araldite's got nothing to connect to, then it's not making a very good connection, is it? So there is that. Better head off for the night. Only got a half day at college luckily, but still means I have to get up early. Okay, thank you for coming by. Great to have you here as always. Good night and sleep well and all that jazz. Don't work too hard. And I'll see you again next time. Where's the end of the cable? I don't really want there. It is. So now we will tin up one end of these. I have made them purposely too long. So we can thread them along, cut them down to size and get the other sides tinned up and stuck down afterwards. That's the ones I want to use. Hello, Lewis, the man who says hello a lot. What's going on here is some redoing of the pickups. We are no longer having pickups on the central wheels because they were causing too many shorts. It's a shame, but it was necessary. Spent all that time fixing shorts only for them to be like, nope. So say if it needs it, it's got a tender it can have pickups added to. And if it still needs it, it's got wires for a stay alive on the DCC decoder. So it was not the most ideal set of circumstances, not the end of the world. Are the spokes plastic? Because if not, the rods should transfer some power from the central drivers. So on one side they are insulated, on the other they are not. And that is a very good point that I hadn't thought of. Blooming thumb screws. I hate these things. Go on there and act as a bit of a weight. That's just because I'm doing it too slow. And now that cable is... Oh, I see what that cable's catching on. There we go. It wants a bit of oil, but I think we've got it. And obviously I need to sort out the red wire, which is, would you believe, catching on the thumb screw. We're just going to use a tiny blob of super glue this time. Because I can do that nice and easily without moving anything. So I don't get angry with thumb screws, they'll stick out and make everything go bang. Yep. Nothing we can't sort with a bit of super glue on the wire though. Probably would have been better if I hadn't got any super glue in the worm gear there though. It's alright, I'll get it out. Okay, I never got the wire perfect, but there we go. Imagine how fast she'd be flying along if I actually put the rods on. And the body to give it some traction. And oiled the 20-year-old motor. So we've done it this evening. We have made it work-ish. Yeah, it'll be actually more quiet now. Of course, the next thing to test is that we don't get much short when we put the body on. Which is a distinct possibility with a metal-bodied loco. Actually, want you to go up above there. Cable. Not get caught on there. That's not what I want you to do. Look at that, she's got enough weight to pull herself along now. Sort of. She works. That's what we came here for, right? Turn that off. Take the controller and the test track apart for now. There's the lid for the super glue. I came here for free cookies. Well, good news is YouTube serves up tons of cookies. They might not be the ones you're after, but there's a lot of them. Hydration is important. So now that she's done electrically, we need to paint the wheels that I somehow forgot to paint before. Luckily, I've got Brighton Goods green here in a tin. I'll lid back on the flux as well. It's almost like I planned for this. Not that you'd believe I planned anything after having to build a test track on stream. But they aren't chocolate orange cookies. YouTube cookies taste icky. And always seem to come with a bit of Jake Paul for some reason. Fair. Fair. They're here though, and they're free. I mean, what more do you want for your free cookies than being free? So I know I shouldn't jinx this because we've got 20 minutes to go still. But we've not had any Russian spam bots in tonight. Do you think they're all a bit busy? And do you think they'll turn up now that I've tempted them with my blue and yellow wires? Not be nice with Jake Paul's face, I get without free. But I have to have some standards. Well, see, there's your problem. I found I got much farther in life by not having standards. Exclamation mark goes at the front, Lewis. You start a message with an exclamation mark and it says to the bot, "Hey bot, this is a message for you. I want you to do something." In this case, you want it to give you a list, give you an update on how many terriers I have. That is up to date. I have not bought any more. I came close. I got outbid on one yesterday. It went for £1 more than my maximum. Unfortunately, I didn't program a self-destruct command for it. Standards are far too modern for roadkill. They are indeed. Far, far, far too modern. And there goes some shilling, because shilling is important. And I like to think if Oak Hill was a real place, it would have survived long enough to get some standards. But we'll never know. How much is a shilling again? No idea. Honestly. You'll have to ask the older people. So Sophia, how much is a shilling? I'm so nice, aren't I? £12. Of course, because base 12. Which I like to point out was a perfectly logical system, base 12. It's just that the Babylonians counted on their fingers differently to us. At least you were expecting it, eh? I mean, you could have just answered the question before I asked, then I wouldn't have had to ask. So it shall look a lot better for having our wheels painted, I think. And then we can get another coat of white on the cab roof because it needs that. And then what are we going to do for next week's live stream? Ideas on a postcard. Because next weekend we will be celebrating 3 years of Let's Build. Oh, Let's Build's actually 3 years old on Thursday, but since I don't stream on Thursdays, we'll be doing it on Sunday when I do stream. 3 years of sitting around watching me do some modelling. What are you lot like? Well, I know the song, Lewis. We don't need the lyrics. Okay, are you baking it for everyone? Make sure you do enough to go round. Oh, that took a while, but I was starting to wonder if I'd disabled that command. But yeah, genuinely, if we have some ideas for what you want to do next week, because I doubt I'm going to have the lightning transfers for this by then. Not because I can't get them, just because I'll forget to order them. Plus, I don't really want to sit here putting lightning transfers on a loco. For live stream birthday the 3rd. I think this year is possibly 15th year of my original channel existing on this website potentially. That's a long time. This is the only YouTube account I've ever publicly acknowledged. Actually, I don't think it is. I think I've admitted the existence of my other channel, but it's never been used for anything. The reason my subscriptions are private is because this is the channel I watch all my YouTube on. Yeah, I've wasted 15 years on this website. Oh, dear Lord. I expect 15 years ago I had never been on YouTube. It's a handy metric because, like, I know when 15 years ago was. My daughter was born 15 years ago. I don't think I'd ever visited YouTube. Right, I have, because I'm really clever, bought the wrong tin of red paint in here. Back in a second. That was quick. Keeping your Mr. Slippers subscription. Obviously. Yeah. Obviously. So I'm actually using this red paint, which is a Humbro. I know it's a Hornby product. Because it's not a million miles off Phoenix's Buffer Beam Vermilion. And B, not giving me terrible coverage. It might look like it now, but there's a good reason for that. And it'll be to do with the amount I shook the tin. But considering how red paints normally are, I hope I didn't get that in the paint. The red on the end of this carriage is 2 coats on top of a grey primer. And that's really good for red. So I'm hoping I can do this in 2 coats as well. Which I definitely can't with the Phoenix. To get that sort of coverage from the Phoenix, you're looking at least 4 coats. But there we go. Could say it's not a million miles away. You could say it's not a million miles away. That coach is ready for anything. Yes, yes it is. So seriously, what's everyone want to see next week? Sorry, I better not maroon you with these buttons. I did, but it was a while ago now, Lewis, if I'm honest. I always watch channels from it. In fact, I am subscribed to everyone who appears in my chat regularly. Unless there's someone that isn't a content creator. What's an offer for next week? What do you want? You tell me what you want and I'll see what I can do to accommodate. Ah, no, not on the roof. Unfortunately, what isn't on offer next week is free cookies that don't have Jake Paul's face on them. We've already baked next week's cookies. They all have Jake Paul's face on them. So does the cake, actually. I don't know who came up with that. Susan, what's her name? I'll have to do that. Yeah, I'm not sure how I can make cake a thing on live stream. This isn't called Let's Bake, it's called Let's Build. You never know. If I get on with it, I might have something ready by next weekend. I really won't. I won't have the transfers done. I've not even started drawing those up yet. But you never know. I might get something ready. Be a good way to celebrate 3 years, wouldn't it? Well, that is right now 23:59 and 30 seconds, which I believe is also known as good as midnight. Shia LaBeouf. Don't. What you have that needs doing? Absolutely loads. I've got wagon kits, I've got coach kits, I've got more loco kits. It is now exactly midnight. I've got a layout we need to get on with that I really need to decide what to do next on that, and then we can actually get on with it. And I've got some really interesting stuff for that. Because I bought lots of details for it in extra brass, so they'll be fun. I don't have an E1R, and I never will. It's a Southern loco, not a Brighton one. A layout and a wagon, maybe. I will take all these suggestions on board and see what I can do. So I say, it's possible something else will be ready for next week. And if it is, it would be a shame not to show it off. Wouldn't it? Right, so it is midnight, ladies and gentlemen. We have done a fantastic job tonight. I think she runs. She is DCC fitted. She works. And next week will be 3 years of Let's Build. It's been a great journey. But let's save the emotional rubbish for next week. Thank you, Alex. Much appreciated. So yeah, thank you for coming, everyone. I've had a wonderful time. I hope you have too. I've been Gary. This has been Let's Build. And you've been awesome as always. Good night.